Before these anglers cast any lines, they test the water for something much less palatable than fish.
This is the phosphate one, and this is the one we're really interested in. The government recommendation for rivers in the UK is less than 0.1. Take a walk for half a mile up there, you'll see a little stream that's got absolutely no life in it whatsoever, and that's all from the sewage treatment works.
Just a few miles upstream from Thames Water's head office, pollution of the Kennet is evidence, say campaigners, of a floundering company in a failing system.
We've got a broken water sector, absolutely no doubt about it. And what's happened to Thames Water is probably going to happen to other companies. Since privatisation, we've seen something like £55 billion go out of the industry and into the pockets of shareholders in dividends. I'm not arguing necessarily for renationalisation. What I'm arguing is a complete reset for the water industry, tough, effective regulation, and putting in the investment we need to avert both an economic and environmental disaster.
From the riverbank to the boardroom, Britain's biggest water company is in crisis. Chief Executive Sarah Bentley resigned without explanation. With the company navigating a river of debt, record leaks and concerns over sewage, ministers are preparing for the possibility it may go bust, including plans for a taxpayer-backed special administration.
We need to make sure that Thames Water as an entity survives. There's a lot of work that the government is trying to do on resolving sewage. At the moment, certainly up until now, the regulator has been focused on keeping consumer bills down, but there's a lot of infrastructure work that needs to take place.
Serving 1 in 4 English households, Thames Water is also the most indebted water company. With £14 billion of borrowing and interest rates rising, it's asked its shareholders, including Canadian and British pension funds, for £1 billion to keep it afloat. Thames Water isn't the only water company under financial pressure, but if it collapses, it will be the biggest challenge to the privatisation model since state utilities were sold off in the 80s and 90s, piling cost onto the taxpayer and raising a fundamental question. Is it really possible to keep bills down and turn a profit while providing the investment needed to keep our rivers clean? Public disgust at widespread sewage dumping has piled pressure on regulator Ofwat as well as ministers. But new infrastructure cost money and bills seem certain to rise.
There's about 70 billion needs to be invested in total in water supply and in sewage improvement, control of our sewage over the next 30 years. So that's a lot of money. And one way or another, either through general taxation or through our bills, we're going to be paying for that.
Patience is a virtue on the riverbank. We may all need it. Paul Kelso, Sky News in Berkshire.